All right. People are starting to filter in. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome.
Hey
Feel free to
guys.
feel free to pop something into the chat just so that way we know let us know where you're coming from. City, state, country, whatever you're comfortable sharing.
Hey, Jeremy.
Jeremy, welcome. Nashville, man. That's a great spot to be. I,
Great
I'm
guitar
uh
town.
I'm partial with all the guitars.
Yeah, Steve, you got to break one out and give us a little jam session one of these days.
I'm working up the courage to do that for you, Baxter. One of these days I'll serenade you guys in a Zoom call. It'll be great.
Yeah, it would be great. It would be great.
All right. Well, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and launch a poll. Um, it would just be great if there's two questions. Are you a customer of Datagate? Are you a customer of alternative payments? It's yes or no. It's really simple. There's no wrong answer. Contrary to what Mark or Baxter might believe, there's no wrong answer. um, so I would also love to learn what you're interested in hearing more about in today's webinar. Why are you here? That's one of the questions on the poll. Feel free to answer it on the poll. If there's something you're dying to see and you want to make sure we do it today, feel free to pop that into the chat because we're here for you. All right. Um, Speaking of which, we have an agenda for today that Baxter's going to get up here in just a moment. So we're going to make this painless, guys. I know we put it's going to be an hour long, but unless Q&A goes for a really long time, we'll get you out of here in like 30-40 minutes, okay? So we're going to do an overview of alternative payments. We're going to do an overview of Datagate. We're going to talk a little bit about Datagate's telecom billing flow. We're going to do a Datagate demo, and then we're going to do a demo of alternative payments. And we've already got alternative payments like integrated into Datagate, so that way you'll be able to see what the actual workflow between the two look like. Um, and then finally, we'll have time for Q&A. If you have questions throughout, please feel free to pop them into the Q&A section or into the chat. I will do my best to interrupt Baxter and Mark gracefully so that way we can get those questions answered. I won't make you wait till the end if you have a burning question in the middle of this. All right. Baxter, please take it away,
Yeah,
sir.
awesome, Steve, and thank everybody. Thank you so much for being here. This is really exciting for a number of different reasons. I think first of all, we've worked very closely with the Datagate teams, with the Halo teams, with other PSA teams to really provide a really seamless experience between your core PSA system, your telecom billing system, and your payment automation and payment processing and billing solution. So really, really excited. I think this is really what the industry is all about, is strengthening partnerships and really providing best-in-class solutions that allow you as business owners and as MSPs and IT services and telecom providers to be much more successful and automate much more of your flow. So quickly on alternative payments, I started alternative payments 4 years ago. I've been in the MSP and IT services industry for the last about 15 years ago. It's really started as an investor. So I made investments in Presidio, which was a global VAR slash MSP, Optiv Security, another big cybersecurity VAR, Tech Data, and TD Synnex. Saw a lot of the pain points with those businesses around billing or around invoicing, billing, and payments and the automation challenges that those businesses faced, as well as monitoring and seeing a lot of what the simplicity that software companies were experiencing in the space. And so, decided to leave the investing world 4 years ago and start alternative payments. We are a purpose-built solution for MSPs, for telecom providers, and for IT services companies And really what we're focused on is the right side of the screen, which is just the outcomes, and how are we able to help you run a more efficient business by driving and delivering outcomes and automating workflows and saving you time and money. And so these statistics are some of the statistics that we really track our success on as a platform and as a company. How quickly are we helping you as a business owner get paid? Today, the industry average is about 30 days. We're helping people get paid in 7 days. So that's a huge reduction in collection times. 62% of all of our payments that we process are fully automated. So what does that mean? That means that you are not sending out an invoice. You are not, the client is not logging in to make a payment based on automation rules. We are syncing those invoices to our system, and then we are running those payments from your clients on file, whether it's bank accounts or credit cards. And those are subject to a pretty complicated rule-based system that's fully customizable for you today and always. We have very, very strong customer success and customer support. We believe that, you can't just arm companies with a really, really great software system, especially with a mission critical software system, without providing you support and customer success. And so we deliver that as part of our solution. And then, really focused on saving folks time and money. So, we're a team of about 40. We're growing very, very quickly. We have about 8 people in customer support and success. We have a sales team of about 15, an engineering team of about 15. And really, really excited to partner with Datagate, to announce this integration here, and work with hopefully some of you in the near future as we continue to build all of our businesses. I'll pass it over to Mark to give a quick Datagate overview as well.
Thank you, Baxter. It's great to be here, and appreciate you having us on this podcast. So Datagate is a telecom billing solution designed for MSPs. I guess the important thing about Datagate is we are a stay in our lane software company that we focus really on the telecom billing, and that's very important. I'll explain why that is. So we're designed specifically for MSPs, just like alternative payments and telecom providers. We generate the branded telecom invoices, which is important for MSPs to be able to sell telecom services on their own paper, on their own invoice. That's a very, very important thing for an MSP to do. It's a huge opportunity selling telecom. Every business needs a phone system, and the MSP is the best provider of that, because really phones and computers are the same thing these days. And so it's a great revenue opportunity for MSPs. Very important to bill it yourself on your own invoice, because that way your business gets the top line revenue. That boosts the valuation of your business. So, when it comes later down the track, when you want to retire and sell your business, you want the maximum valuation. And you get the maximum valuation by putting through the top line revenue. And in a telecom, you need your own telecom billing system to do that. So people say, well, that's complicated in the US. There's lots of compliance and tax involved, and we've got that covered. We partner with the best tax companies in America, the best tax engines. We work with all the big names, CCH SureTax, Ceratax, Compliance Solutions, Avalara. We work with them all, and I believe we're the market leader in telecom billing. Actually, we're supporting approximately 600 MSPs now. I should update this number that's on the screen. And we were founded in 2016. We have 30 employees around the world, but mostly in North America. We do all the things you'd expect of a telecom billing system, in that we do the call rating, we do automatic taxes and surcharges, monthly charges, multi-site billing, or in fact, all the different complexities that come up with telecom billing, because we've been doing it for a long time. We've got a lot of clients. Any complexities, we handle it. So I won't go into all that detail, but I'd say the most important thing with Datagate is that we integrate with the software that's important to MSPs. So we do not go into your business and say, hey, you need to change everything, throw out all your PSA systems, throw out all your other, we actually we integrate with the software that MSPs like, and we integrate with the solutions that we think are the best in breed, the best solutions around. And we're really impressed with Alternative Payments. It's a fantastic solution, and you're going to be able to see it shortly. So that means we can be up and running quickly, because we're not trying to change the PSA system. We work with the fantastic systems like Halo PSA, which we've got running behind this demo today, and ConnectWise and Autotask, and we work with all the popular accounting systems like QuickBooks Desktop, QuickBooks Online, Xero. So yeah, we stay in our lane. We do the telecom billing, and we share data with all those great software packages. Thank you. So this next slide is one we call our 30,000-foot view, because it looks at how does Datagate and Alternative Payments and other solutions all work together to form one cohesive system. And the big thing here is automation too. Like MSPs want things to work automatically. They don't like rekeying things. They don't like having to do any more work than they have to. They want to be spending time out with their customers, working on adding value to their customers. They don't want to have to be tied up in administrative systems. So we and our partners are all very much on board with that. And so the way this system works, if you look at the bottom left-hand corner, you've got your telecom provider or your PABX. That's where all the action is happening in the telecom world. And we receive from that automatically in the background call detail records or call data. So we can see all the activity in Datagate of what's going on with those customers that are using your telecom system. So we, as a billing engine, we are running all the time, turning over, we're processing all that usage data, applying it to whatever pricing plans that you have configured for your business. And we support all the plans that the big telcos do and more. So, whether that's international call rating, long distance calls, bundling, capped plans, overage charges, you name it, everything that the telecom industry does and more, we support all of that. And when we process it with a market leading tax engine of your choice, which is there bolted on the side of Datagate. So we have all the correct telecom taxes. We have partners that can automatically file the tax returns for you as well, and we can do it very cost effectively. And we know about all the ways that you can minimize cost to doing all of that and maximize profit. So Datagate will send out all the invoices to your customers. We handle bulk invoicing. We can do thousands of invoices, in a single batch, or very few, however you want to do it. We can do one by one, or we can do thousands at a time. Send those invoices out to your customers, and then we also pass that invoice information back to your PSA system of choice, whether it's Halo PSA or ConnectWise Kaseya, Data Autotask. So, and if you don't have a PSA system, we can pass it straight back to your QuickBooks or Xero or other accounting system. So we share data, so we don't like you having to rekey things. So we can bring in all your account information, all your customer information from your PSA system and or your accounting system. When you change one system, it changes the others. So we're not, we don't believe in multiple keying of things. We're trying to minimize work here, not create work. And the great thing is, I guess, when it comes to payments too, you've got here in the bottom right there, Alternative Payments. You have the invoice that goes out will have a link that can take a customer straight to the Alternative Payments portal where they can make the payment automatically, or very easily. They can do it automatically as well. I'll leave that to Baxter to go into more detail there. But the nice thing with Alternative Payments is it can see the invoices that are generated by Halo PSA or your whatever PSA system you're using, and the invoices that are created by Datagate. So you've got this nice cohesive system right from quote to cash, as they often say. From calls happening in the phone system right through to the automatic billing at the end of the month. We can do things very automatically for you because we know that's what MSPs want. You can schedule your billing to happen at a certain time, or you can drive it yourself. And it all goes into this big, nicely integrated ecosystem. And the beauty of it all is that a lot of this is the stuff that MSPs use anyway. So we're not going into an MSP and saying, hey, you've got to, move off your ConnectWise or move off your Halo. No, you stay with the processes that you already have. We plug in the telecom billing part to it, and away you go. So we can be up and running very quickly. and we can use the same processes that you use in your MSP business with these other software packages. So yeah, that's really the 30,000-foot view. Thank you.
Yeah, no, the only other thing that I'd add in terms of what Mark said is really, I think the way we think about it and the way Mark and Datagate thinks about it, which is why, we're partnering so closely, is just really using best in breed softwares that stay in their lanes and really focus on payments or focus on telecom billing. The other big piece, right, is how do you close your books at the end of the month and making sure that there's as little work that's required from the accounting system. So, your accountants can then take all these records, all these invoices that are marked as paid or outstanding. You have one source of truth, and you can then close your books. And so, this simple, streamlined, seamless process, again, allows for cohesion and simplicity to automate your workflows and processes, and then close your books at the end of the month or the end of the quarter or the end of the year. So that's great, Mark.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree. It's and really, these best in breed solutions gives more power to the MSP, more functionality, better value for money, the whole thing, and a lot of automation and yeah, just great products. So thank you. Yeah. So in light of that, I'll move to
And I'll
share my
stop
screen.
sharing, Mark, and then you want to share?
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Will do. Thank you. Let's see. Share. Things are running a little bit slow on my computer today, but here we go. So, so Baxter, you can see my screen now?
Not
No.
yet.
Yep, sorry.
There we go. Now I can.
Got it now. Great. Thank you. So here we have the Datagate billing portal. It's a browser-based solution, and it's runs on Microsoft Azure. This is the browser-based interface to the system, and when you log into Datagate, you see a bunch of widgets here which tell you all about the overview of your billing processes. The menu down the side here is pretty self-explanatory. I guess as I mentioned in the overview, in terms of customers, we have customers synchronized with your PSA system or your accounting system. We've got a lot of capability here that I won't go into all this detail because I can get into a lot of detail. But really what I want to say is that we support pretty much everything that you could ever dream to come up with in terms of complications, but we also try to make this solution very simple as well. So we can handle all sorts of things like multiple agreements. We can synchronize those agreements with Halo PSA, with ConnectWise, etc. So you can, that's where you have one customer that's got lots of things going on. We can have multiple sites. We can deal with customers that have like to keep all their billing separate for different branches around the countryside, different tax laws, different all sorts of things. So I won't go into all that detail. Just that there's a lot of power in the system. We make it look simple deliberately, but that's not to say it's a simple system. It's got a lot of capability. But in terms of the billing, if I go into this screen here, this is how simple it is if you choose to drive Datagate yourself each month or whenever you do your billing. So it's simply a matter of choosing, I want to bill up to today, for example, the 19th, and that will give me a list of all the customers that need to have invoices generated. So I'll press the generate button, and actually I've got that all pre-prepared. That'll take maybe a minute or two to generate the whatever batch of invoices you have, whether it's thousands or hundreds or tens of customers. So here you have all the invoices that have just been generated. You now can access them all as one batch and say, email them all. This will give you all the actions. Or you can, if you want to, you can have a look at them as well. So we've got this little icon here that'll pop up an invoice to show you what it's going to look like. So it's really up to the MSP who's driving this as to how they want to run the system. They want to run a big batch and send out 1,000 invoices at once. They can do that just by select all. They can also do them individually as well, select one or two. And these look like they've been already sent manually. So I can say, well, send them again. I can also, at this point, once they've been sent, it all happens in the background. I can also then say to export the invoices that I've selected, and I can send them through to the Halo system, the Halo multi. And of course, what pops up here on this selection is just whatever's been configured on this Datagate system. And we've got, obviously, we can send invoices to not only Halo PSA, but also ConnectWise PSA, AutoTask. We can send them to QuickBooks, online QuickBooks desktop, Xero, and also we can create CSV files that can be imported into lots of other accounting systems as well. So so I guess with that being done, we've already actually done this earlier on today. I think at this stage I can hand back to you, Baxter. So if you look at these invoices, these are to this customer. In fact, that's the invoice. In fact, I clicked Cosmo Solutions, I think is the one we're looking at, Cosmo Tel.
Exactly.
Exactly. So with that, Baxter, showing how easy it is to generate a huge number of invoices, I will drop back to you. I'll turn off my share, and you should be able
Great.
to then take over.
Yeah, so if everybody can see my screen now, so those invoices would sync over to our solution. This is the partner dashboard for the MSP, which I'll just give you a quick glance at, and then I'll jump into the end client view. But here you see the Cosmotel Solutions customer, and then you'll see the DG 1012 invoices. These will be external invoices relative to the alt invoices, which would be like an internally created invoice within our system. So this would sync into the partner dashboard, which is what we're looking at. This would also sync into the end client dashboard. So I've set up another experience for the end client, which I'll share here, where the end client can then very simply, again, log in to a sageitsystems.com URL, or maybe they're receiving it directly via email. They would log in. They could sign in with a password or without a password. This experience is configured to sign in without a password. So they'll get an email and a code sent. And then there'll be an authentication error. No, let me just log in again. Let me just do that again because it was on my demo environment. Here we go. So this should log in, and you'll see all the invoices that are outstanding. So you'll see these DG 1012 invoices. They'd also have a repository of any invoices that have been paid historically. And since there's a Datagate invoice, right, and the Datagate invoice is so critical, they'll also be able to download the Datagate invoice directly within our system. So this is that Cosmotel Solutions invoice that you just saw within Datagate, that's syncing directly in our system, which obviously from a regulatory and a compliance standpoint is a requirement for your businesses and for the clients to see. They could then go in and just click Pay Now. There's a credit card already on file, so they would then they could select Pay Invoice. They could also schedule the invoice for later in the month if they'd like. They could pay a part of the invoice. Let's say they only want to pay $90 of the invoice and leave a certain amount of it outstanding. For this purposes, I'll just pay the entire invoice, and they'd click Pay, confirm payment, and that transaction's now been complete. The cool thing, about a lot of the automations that we've built and this payment experience for your end clients is they can obviously store payment methods, bank accounts, credit cards, as many as they want. They can opt in or out of auto pay based on their experience or based on the partner experience. And then there's obviously a number of different team members that they can add. When we then jump back to the partner dashboard has a tremendous amount of flexibility and configuration capabilities. So right here, you'll see, let me just reload because you'll see the 1012 invoice that's just been paid here. Right here, 1012, is marked as paid. but they'll also be able to, track and see, or you'll be able to track and see any of your other invoices. Each customer also has a separate kind of profile, right? So you can come in here and monitor and manage each customer attached to your business. Do you want to pass credit card fees to that client or not? Do you want to add bank accounts? Maybe John at Cosmetel calls you and says, hey, I don't want to, log in and make a payment. Can I add a bank account? And you can add a bank account immediately and then come in here, look at the upcoming invoice and just charge him while you're on the phone with him and select that payment method. So I could also just charge that invoice directly from this experience and process that payment. So there's a lot of flexibility in terms of how you interface with the client. There's a nice email activity section, right? So you can really see what's been delivered, what's been sent, what's been opened or clicked to the client. And then you also have the ability to see this data and analytics product by customer as to how much revenue is that customer bringing in for you. How quickly do they pay? Are their payments automated? Are they not automated? And so that gives you, again, a better functionality and ability to manage your payments, not only at the portfolio level and your entire customer base, but at the customer level, right? Are they paying via ACH? Are they paying via credit card? Are you incurring a lot of fees based on those payments? Are they incurring fees based on those payments? I'll show you one other kind of key component of the product, which is automations. So, we also have the ability to set up fully customized automations and alerts tied to those invoices. We have today two different types of email reminders. The first is a summary email reminder, which basically would be a fully customizable email that summarizes the invoices that are outstanding to that client. So, hey, John at Cosmetel, remember you have 3 invoices outstanding for $4,500. Please log in and pay. These can get sent out at a customizable cadence. So this is set up to be the first day of the month. But if we just create a new summary here, you can create a custom day of the month. You can create custom or once a week. And then we also have the ability to send out invoice specific reminders, again, on customizable cadences. So, this demo account has 2 different templates that are utilized, and you can create as many templates as you want. So you could come in here and create a template, let's call this, Datagate demo. This is the Datagate demo. Please pay the following invoices. And you can see, exactly, example, whatever. You can customize this to your liking. You can add variables depending on invoice number, amount, company name, days until due date. And then once you set that email template up, you can then set the frequency. So 7 days before the due date of an invoice, on the due date, on the creation date, 5 days after the due date, 14 days after the due date. So really a lot of it just depends, right? If John at Cosmetel is a customer who pays you automatically, then maybe you obviously don't need to remind John very frequently. But if John pays via check, for example, or pays via direct wire, you may want to have 3 or 4 automated emails that go out to remind John of the invoice. Now, once the invoice has obviously been paid, then all those subsequent reminders get automatically turned off. So it's just a little bit of a backstop to ensure that you're getting paid on time and you're obviously processing those transactions. The second kind of key kind of functionality here is auto pay. And so we can run auto pay on a lot of different functionality and flexibility, right? So this account that we have here is integrated to Halo PSA, it's integrated to QuickBooks Online, and it's integrated to Datagate. And so we have the ability to then pull different contracts, different types of invoices from those systems to then create auto pay rules based on that data. So let's say we want to create an auto pay rule based off of a PSA contract. We select Halo PSA contracts. All of your contracts from Halo would populate here. And let's say you just want the managed contracts to be on auto pay. You could then select confirm for those contracts. So Halo PSA managed contracts would be on auto pay. You could also subsequently say, all right, well, I want, a specific customer to be on auto pay. So I'd come in here, let's say I want to go to, Cosmetel Solutions, which we just talked about. I'm going to select Cosmetel. They have one payment method on file, which populates immediately. And so every single time there's an invoice to Cosmetel that's 0 days past due or on the due date, you would charge those invoices. But let's say John at Cosmetel calls and he says, hey, Baxter, I don't want to charge all invoices. I only want to charge invoices less than $1,000. Again, you could come in here, you could select an outstanding amount, you'd select less than $1,000, and then that would get set up for all Cosmetel invoices that are less than $1,000 would then automatically charge this Visa that's on file, and you'd confirm. Then the way you manage it, right, is you can come in here and view which customers are on auto pay, either on a customer basis or customer specific basis, or on a global all customer basis rule. So a lot of functionality, right? Because if we go back to that diagram that we were previously sharing, the question is, how do you automate all the call data into Datagate plus taxes, think that over to your PSA, and then get paid for those invoices and have those invoices reconcile and sync back to the accounting software. And so with these two solutions, right, or with these three solutions, or four solutions, Datagate, Halo, Alternative Payments, and QuickBooks Online, you really have the ability to fully automate this workflow in each software, which obviously streamlines the process for MSPs, telecom providers, IT services companies. So really, really excited, about this. Really, really excited to walk you through that flow, and happy to open it up for any Q&A or additional detail that folks want to dive into.
I just want to go over a couple questions with you guys. One, does Alternative Payments send the initial invoice email, or does that have to be done through Datagate or ConnectWise?
Yeah, so this is really I love this question. I also hate this question because it's really up to you. Datagate has the capabilities to send invoices out directly. Halo and other PSA software has the ability to send out invoices directly. We have the ability to send out invoices directly. Typically, and I'd love to get Mark's take on this after I answer, but typically what we'd recommend is the Datagate invoices would flow into ConnectWise or the PSA software. Those Datagate invoices would get combined with the invoices, the other invoice and managed services invoices that would be created within the PSA software. And then all of those invoices would get sent to Alternative Payments. And then you'd set up your email notifications and automations out of Alternative Payments, because then we're sending either summaries, right, based on Datagate invoices, right? So this would be DG 1012 plus a ConnectWise invoice out of our system. And so there's then one single source of truth from a distribution. And then your clients also have access, obviously, to the Datagate PDF invoice or the ConnectWise PDF invoice through our system. And then your clients are really interfacing only with one solution that's really your billing payments engine. And we can streamline that process for the client experience.
And how do you manage expiring payment types?
Expiring payment types is a great question, and not many folks do this well. we do it. And so what happens basically is when a payment method, and this is specific to credit cards, because obviously bank accounts do not expire. When a credit card expires, we have the ability to basically send a token to the card networks to update the expiration date of that credit card. Now, if the credit card number is changed, we can't do so. But if it's just that the credit card has expired, when that expiration date hits, we have the ability to update that expiration date in an fully autonomous factor or autonomous manner.
Is
And so that's a really nice feature that we offer that a lot of other payments and billing solutions do not offer today.
and I guess maybe I'm misremembering. Doesn't the 3-digit CVV2 code also change when a card expires?
So it does. And we have the ability to either run it with a CVV code or run it without a CVV code. So the card networks would tell you to run it with a CVV code because there are discounts that are applied if you run it with a CVV code. But we have the ability to run it both with a CVV code or without a CVV code. Right now, for auto pay transactions, we run it without a CVV code. And for manual transactions, we run it with a CVV code and request that the CVV code gets inputted manually. But that that adds a little bit more complexity and detail. We may be changing it and requiring the CVV code for autopay transactions. But right now you're not supposed to, from a PCI compliant manner, you can't store the CVV code on autopay transactions.
Oh, I didn't know that. Good to know. And I guess I just want to clarify. You mentioned that there may be discounts if we run with a CVV code, but our fees, I guess I'm saying I'm with alternative payments too. Our fee structure, it doesn't matter because it's 2.9% for Visa, MasterCard, 3.5% for American Express, whether we run it with a CVV or not.
That's exactly right. So the discount would be to alternative payments as benefit from an interchange fee perspective.
Two more questions. Are chargebacks from credit card or ACH, how do we handle those?
Yeah. So from a chargeback perspective, we charge a fee attached to chargebacks and disputes. I believe the chargeback fee is, I think, $15 per chargeback. The chargeback fee, and this is kind of getting into some details, but I think important, is it affects us as a processor, which is why we create a fee attached to it. Because it basically reduces our rating as a processor if we have too many chargebacks. They obviously also create kind of potentially higher risk transactions, which then again, we get negatively impacted. And so we get charged a fee from the card networks. We pass that fee on to our clients. Historically, we actually haven't charged a fee tied to chargebacks, and now we're implementing a fee charged to chargebacks as well as disputes.
And do we have any reports for expired credit cards or closed accounts?
Today, I'm not sure what you mean by closed accounts per se. I mean, I guess it's maybe accounts that don't have a payment method on file.
I think he
We
means like we shut down the credit card, we no longer have a Capital One card, or maybe we closed the bank and went to a new bank.
Yeah, so you'll have the ability to run a report that shows you which customers are on autopay, as well as which customers have credit cards or payment methods on file, so that your team can then focus on the accounts that are not on autopay and do not have payment methods on file when you're reaching out to accounts.
Mhm.
Today, we do not have a report, although we will add it because it's a very good idea, of credit cards that are expired, to refresh those credit cards.
Okay. And then debit cards. Jeremy's asking if those are supported yet.
Debit cards are supported just like a credit card. The intricacy is that right now we pass credit card fees to the debit card holder, and that will be changed here in the next week or two, maybe 30 days, whereby if you're paying via debit card, the fee will be absorbed by the MSP, because from a compliance perspective, you're not allowed to pass credit card fees tied to a debit card.
And to clarify, you mentioned that the fees are passed on. That's a setting for you guys. So if you want to pass the fees on for credit card payments to the customer, so that way, if they want to pay with a Visa, they pay the 2.9%. You can do that, or you can choose to waive that. And it looks like Baxter's going to show you that setting now.
Yeah, so this is pretty cool functionality, whereby, again, you can control the entire payment experience. So, what you just saw here, from the end client experience, you click pay now. Maybe this for some reason reloaded. Okay, so if we want to change our credit card, right, we have a bank account, we have a credit card, we also have a financing solution. If you want to adjust this experience for Cosmetel or for any of your clients, you can literally come in here and you can say, I don't want to offer ACH, or I don't want to offer credit card, or I don't want to offer pay in installments. So let's say we want to take off pay in installments as a solution that we offer, and we want to, as the MSP, absorb credit card fees. We would just toggle that button, click continue, click confirm. Now, when I go back to the end client experience and refresh, you will see just a invoice for $123, right? So the credit card fee went away, and then you don't see the pay in installments product on the below anymore. So all of these settings, right, are fully customizable, fully configurable, by client, depending on, what you want to drive and what type of outcomes do you want from those clients, which again, gives you more flexibility, gives you more customization, to control how much processing fees you're paying as an MSP, to control confusion on the checkout experience. If you think that, Joe at Cosmetel won't want to pay with financing. And so, it's a very, very robust piece of software that allows you to customize it, pretty quickly.
And it looks like CJ has been on top of the Q&A for any Datagate questions. For example, some questions came up with quoter integration, as well as just some general settings things. So thank you, CJ. For those of you that are here,
Playing my part.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said just playing my part.
Yeah.
Well,
For those of you here, if you have any questions, it looks like Datagate has a quoter integration, if you did not know. So definitely check that out if you are a quoter user. All right. That is all of the questions. Are there any last minute questions, you guys?
Mark, anything else you wanted to add?
Well, I'd just like to say I'm very, very impressed with the alternative payment solution. Its functionality is fantastic. Your product, depth of knowledge in the subject is very impressive, and I think it sort of proves the point of our strategy that we both have of working in partnership, and the deep functionality and expertise and backing that you get from working together. And I think it's a great solution. I'm very impressed. I think it's the type of thing a lot of our Datagate customers will want. And really that's the, I guess the intention of Datagate is to really maximize the functionality available to our clients, and by working with the best software companies, and you guys are amazing. It's really good. I'm impressed. So thank you.
Yeah, no, and listen, we're extremely impressed with the Datagate offering. And I think the most fun about working together is ensuring that customers have a seamless experience between Datagate and alternative payments. And so, as hopefully everybody can realize from this call and, from our continued partnership, every customer that kind of comes through our emails or windows or walls, we really want to provide them the best experience. And, we'll fight every day to make sure that the integration's working as seamlessly as possible and making sure that everybody really benefits and gets the best experience possible. So, thank you, Mark, Adrian, CJ, Steve, for putting this on with us, and really appreciate everybody's support, and would love to I'd continue to help the market automate their solutions.
Thank you all.
And
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
And it looks like we do have one more question. I want to make sure that this guy got answered. So Bob asked if the funding payments net, I believe he's asking about how the fees work. So if it's an ACH, those are fee free. So $1,000 invoice, you'll get $1,000 deposit. If you pass the credit card fees to the customer, that $1,000 invoice would have, I want to say it's $1,029 charge, and then we would deposit 1,000 into your bank account and auto reconcile everything in QuickBooks. If you absorb the fees, the customer would get charged 1,000, and then you would get, if I did my math correctly, $971 deposited into your bank account.
Yep. And the key between gross funding and net funding, which I think is really important for everybody to understand, is it's actually less about the fees. It's more about the reconciliation component. And so one of the things that we really focus on is ensuring that the reconciliation is done appropriately. And so when we work with any of our clients, we actually create a account within QuickBooks or within an accounting software, which helps you then reconcile those fees to that specific account. So if, let's say, you are absorbing the credit card fees, there's an invoice for $1,000. To Steve's example, there's $29 of credit card fees, and then there's $971 of cash that gets deposited in your bank account. We actually reconcile the invoice. We mark the invoice as paid. We deposit the $971 into your bank account and do full bank reconciliation. And then we also indicate the $29, which goes into a alternative payments processing fee account, so that you can very quickly reconcile those fees and know exactly how much you're paying for fees. Today, the other thing to note is we do gross funding bulk payouts. So if you get paid for 5 invoices on February 29th, we pay out in T+3. So that would hit your bank account on Friday, most likely, whereby you would receive, if there are 5 invoices for $1,000, you would receive one payment from alternative payments of $5,000. And then we would write all of the supporting invoices for those $5,000 to QuickBooks, so that you have a clear understanding of what that $5,000 transaction was for. But this is an important question, and if you have questions, happy to go into more detail, and also just to share, the last kind of slide here. My email is baxter@alternativepayments.io. Mark is sales@datagate-i.com. I'm sure his email is mark@datagate-i.com.
Yeah, but you can get myself or CJ, and CJ's very glad to answer any questions as well as myself if you have any questions there. So, yeah, CJ at datagate-i.com or sales-datagate-i.com or Mark. Yep, you've got us all there. So
and that is Baxter's cell phone number. So if you guys have any like funny memes or anything, feel free to send him over. He loves hearing from people. He really does love hearing from people.
Yeah, that is my cell phone number. Well, listen, guys, everybody, really appreciate the time. This is fantastic. Thanks so much for listening. If you have any questions, you know how to reach all of us, and really excited to continue to push the industry forward. And if you have any feedback on product, anything else, I know Mark and myself are all open ears. So thank you. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Take
Thank
care,
you all.
everybody.